Honda's just communicated the pricing and updates to its only pickup truck in the United States. This is the Ridgeline we're talking about, a unibody V6 powered pickup truck that has questionable styling still. I wish it looked like the Passport. However, while we will go over these updates today, there's a lot of information out there, believe it if you want, that this truck is being canceled for after 2026. So this might be your last opportunity to buy a brand new Honda Ridgeline before it's discontinued. All right, I'm not the only one that's getting information about its discontinuation. If we go to Auto News, they're saying the Ridgeline is getting canceled in 2026. Now this vehicle is built in Lincoln, Alabama, where they also build the Pilot, the Passport, the Odyssey. Now there's big demand right now, not necessarily for the Pilot, but definitely for the Passport and the Odyssey. And with the Ridgeline out of the way, it could open up more possibilities for expanded production for better selling models. We will go over sales data on this vehicle today as well. I'll pull up the sales at the end, and we'll talk about what Honda is going to do in the future with a pickup truck. Honda should absolutely have a pickup truck in their lineup. In fact, it is bizarre that Honda doesn't have a smaller pickup truck. This mid-size pickup truck, well, it's just, well, one, it's ugly, and when you're in the truck market in the United States, you need to have strong looks, macho looks, boxiness. The Ridgeline, as we go back to the images, yes, they refreshed it just barely a couple years ago, still doesn't look good. All right, at least good enough. And look, the Hyundai Santa Fe, another mid-size unibody pickup truck, not selling well, all right? And neither the Hyundai or the Honda have hybrids, where you look at the Ford Maverick, which is a little bit smaller, I would say. Same thing with the Santa Cruz. And they're a little, if I said Santa Fe, I'm sorry, it's early. Still, the sun hasn't come up here in San Diego. I'm driving the Nissan Leaf today. That's why I'm out here in an office, or I made this hotel room an office. Anyways, but definitely stay to the end. I'll say what Honda needs to do to this truck if they plan on doing anything with it. And that might include teaming up with Nissan. But we'll save that for the end. All right, new for 2026, there's a Ridgeline Black Edition available with contrast black roof. Ridgeline TrailSport gets ash green metallic. The CRV TrailSport got it. It debuted on the Passport TrailSport this year as well. The Ridgeline's rugged, okay. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the first gen Ridgeline launch, introducing numerous industry and segment firsts. Yeah, that feels like a completely different history and timeline right now compared to where the Ridgeline is nowadays. Starting MSRP a little over $40,000, $40,500 at $95,000. Let's compare that to a 2025 model. It's gone up about $440, $445, okay, for the base sport model. And the sport model I've driven before, I cannot recommend that truck. The TrailSport is probably the only one I'd be looking at. 45K, everything's expensive nowadays. It's not a bad priced truck, but I tell you what, I'd rather have, and that's a Nissan Frontier, absolutely. Looking at Ridgelines in my area, availability is not terrible. 450 Ridgelines in my area to compare. If we look at other large platform Hondas, like there's far less Odysseys out there. Odysseys, again, selling way better than these. Well, far less Passports out there. There are a ton of Pilots. But again, the demand on the Pilot is not what it used to be. All right, as that vehicle was redesigned 2 years ago. 2 years ago at this point. Ridgeline, again, let's see if there are any like big price cuts happening on this vehicle. 40,000, 45, 38. So we're seeing 2,500. Actually, if we go back to building it, RTL is about a $43,000 truck, and we're seeing about a $5,000 price drop here. Now, this is the lowest price I can find on the model, but you look at the TrailSport, you're seeing TrailSports under 40,000, and again, that's a $5,000 price drop. $5,000 price drop on Ridgelines is happening right now. They remind us that the Ridgeline is the only pickup truck with consecutive top 10 overall rankings on Cars.com American-Made Index. Yeah, the Honda Ridgeline is the most American-made pickup truck sold in the United States. They source more parts stateside. It's just crazy. All right, how American made it is. Yes, the Nissan Frontier is made in America, the Colorado, the Ranger, I think, is as well. Okay, all-wheel drive is standard. You can't get front-wheel drive like you used to be able to back in the day. Interesting, Jessica Loudermilk, their vice president of Honda sales, she says Ridgeline brings a higher percentage of new buyers into Honda than any other product in their lineup. That is fascinating. And of course, ash gray metallic is only on the TrailSport models. And of course, you can load this thing up with a bunch of HPD accessories. This is the old V6. This is a single overhead cam, 3.5 liter. I really like this engine. Has VTEC on the top end, around 285 horsepower, if I remember right. So yeah, it's just, let's look at sales, because this is where this truck is not succeeding, and that's why it's likely to be canceled. And could you say, well, is it being canceled because Honda didn't do enough to update it? And that's yeah, probably. The Ridgeline should look like a truck version of the Passport, and it looks like a minivan up front still. All right, so sales are down in the month of July here. Sorry, the month of August. Sales are down 9%. And if we look at the sales on the year, though, it's up 16%. So it's heading in the wrong direction. It sells, actually the Prologue is almost outselling it this year. They're less than 2,000 units apart. But if you look at the Passport is outselling it by about 4,000 units. Passport probably could be selling more than that. Pilot is already at 85,000 units, but it's down 7% on the year, as Honda seems to be making more Passports, maybe more Ridgelines as well overall this year compared to traditional volume shakeout. Odyssey, but look at the Odyssey, up 23%. It's old as dirt. It's still the best minivan on the segment. No, it's not the most efficient, but dang, is it a great luxury minivan. So smooth, handles great, super quiet. Oh my gosh, the V6 in here is butter. And that's the thing, it has the 10-speed auto, and that's something the Ridgeline never got. The Ridgeline has an old 9-speed auto ZF, and it's not a very good transmission. The Pilot, the Passport, the Odyssey, the MDX, they all have that new 10-speed auto. The Ridgeline never got it, and that's a tough one for me. I really wish it had that 10-speed auto. I also wish it had a hybrid. If the Ridgeline had a V6 hybrid that got, let's say, 25 to 30 miles per gallon, we'd be talking great performance, great efficiency, and great desirability. All right, so should we talk about what Honda needs to do with the Ridgeline? Well, it's more than likely dead, okay? What are they going to ever have a pickup truck back in the United States? And the answer is, well, you have a few different options. Okay, they can team up with Nissan. Nissan has a bunch of capacity in the Canton, Mississippi plant where they build the Frontier. Could be as simple as that. Bring in a real body on frame. And that's what a lot of Honda customers would like to see. Not unibody. Americans really like their body on frame for this mid-size segment. Once you go smaller, if you go smaller, something like a direct Maverick fighter, then you can go unibody. And I feel like unibody is Honda's DNA. Unibody is what they excel at. And they never have brought in a smaller unibody truck. And it's just unfortunate because they could absolutely crush it. Think about it. Having the CRV hybrids, the 2-liter hybrid, in a small pickup with all-wheel drive, I mean, that would be amazing. You know, price it well under this, price it at $35K or less starting, and we would have a true direct competitor to something like the Maverick. But for this mid-size segment, a 2-liter hybrid would never work. You would need, well, especially body and frame, you want the V6 and you want a V6 hybrid. And we know Honda's working on well, we don't know if it's V6. We know it's large platform hybrids, and they say, hey, it's going to be able to tow, it's going to have good fuel economy, it's going to be a fantastic hybrid powertrain that we're going to see in the Pilot, the Odyssey, etc. But the Ridgeline is likely not to ever see it unless they discontinue it and bring it back, depending on where the market's going. But Honda's just saying, hey, you know, the market doesn't want, you know, a mid-size unibody truck. Maybe that's right. And so maybe they should just contract Nissan. And we know Nissan's going to be building hybrid body-on-frame trucks and SUVs. down in Canton, Mississippi soon in the next couple of years. Honda should get in on that. There's no reason Honda should not. It would help Nissan out and it would help Honda out. It would be a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Can they put aside their differences so they can work something out? They should. Their longevity for both companies would be drastically improved if they had cost reduction with body on frame, platform, and powertrain sharing. Will they do it? I don't know. Honda, maybe they're planning a fully electric pickup truck, and there might be some demand for that actually. But how much? Probably not that much. Rivian already has an expensive, I mean, there's some out there. We know Scout's coming, and Nissan could do it too with a range extender with a new Frontier generation. Honda should get in on that if they're not going to make their own unibody trucks anymore. But what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see a small Maverick fighter with a 2-liter hybrid all-wheel drive? I think that would be amazing. But the problem is they have nowhere to build it. They don't have the production capacity in America to build these things. And so unless they build a new plant, which I don't think they're doing, they're not going to be able to produce more models, really. It's just they're kind of stuck right now. Yes, Honda 0 Series EV plant that is in the Marysville, Ohio plant, like, yeah, they can come out with more models, but is the production volume going to be there? Is the demand going to be there for EVs? There's a lot of worries I have about Honda right now. Can they scale up, get hybrids to the market quick enough? We'll see. And the Ridgeline is, I mean, as we go back to sales, the Ridgeline is not a priority for Honda whatsoever. It is what it is. What do you think Honda should have done with the Ridgeline? Obviously, ash green metallic isn't going to save it from being discontinued. More likely, this is the last year. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'd love to see the Ridgeline continue on, but it needs a massive styling difference and it needs hybrid powertrains, in my opinion, to be competitive in the mid pickup truck segment. But I'll see you guys. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Honda updates here on the channel. Should not Honda just rebadge a Frontier and call it the Ridgeline, or call it something else? Why not? Have a great day, guys. Peace.